All right, guys, welcome back to the 99 Podcast. I'm Ray,
I am Jay.
and we are in part 2 of GOAT List.
Yes.
GOAT Talk.
Go talk.
First part was super fun.
It was.
I hope you guys were thinking about your goats while we were talking.
Yeah, man. Everybody's going to have a different list.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have this different lists, and again, there's the goat, and then there's our goats.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So let's clarify that. Let's hop in, Joe.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Favorite? Oh, goat app.
Goat app.
Goat app.
Yeah, you got one?
IG's coming off the top of my head. That's like the main one.
Yeah.
I use that frequently.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't a good thing.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, man. I think Instagram's probably the GOAT app.
I loved it. I mean, I still enjoy it. I do enjoy it. When it first came out, though, that
Yeah.
was when it was super fun.
Well, it was interesting, right? So, like, when it first rolled out, I feel like the purpose was to, share your life, but it was more to share your photography.
Your photos, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you remember all the filters and how everybody just trying to get artsy with sepia and all this kind of crazy shit. And you're like, okay. Like, remember, you're taking this on a 4S here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then you had the guys that were uploading like the stuff they took from their DSLR. And you're like, come on, guys, this cheating.
Yeah. I think every photographer knows like we don't use filters.
Yeah.
It's funny because every time you deliver something, or I'll speak for myself because I don't know if this is every photographer, but every time I deliver photos for someone, I always mention like, oh, please don't put any filters when you post.
Yeah.
Because there are times.
Oh, dude, for sure, right?
There are times when they post it, they put a filter. I'm like, why even hire me, dog?
You got the HDR on there. You're like, what is this?
What the hell
No limit
is this?
records? Like, what's happening here? Why is there like glitter on everything?
Super saturated, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, why do people like that look though? Where you like heavy
know.
shadows and you're like,
Well,
bro,
you know what? That's funny because I feel like that reveals their age.
really? Interesting.
Someone will put a filter and be like, you're probably over
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
No, you're
yeah,
right. I think a lot of my friends that are like, they use the HDR.
Or
sometimes.
or they're not for the culture.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you have any other apps that like pop up like that you use a lot?
That I use a lot.
Yeah.
Not much. I mean, there's. Let's look around. Not much, I mean, there's the usual like YouTube.
Right. Oh yeah.
All the stream.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know because there's productivity apps and
Yep,
then there's
yep.
social apps.
Yep.
IG's yours though.
IG,
IG's yours.
you know what's? I'm just thinking about it right now. Just native apps to iPhone Notes, bro. I know, and it's the simplest one.
Sure.
It's so simple, but the fact that you can share and collaborate, and you just have a running list. Like so, Tristan and I, we got all our grocery lists on there. We got lists for days, dude. But it's just funny that just such a simple app is so effective. That's the one thing that I use the most because I have such a bad memory. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
How you and I, we got bad memory, man. I got to put it in notes. Otherwise, I'm going to forget it. Like whether it's like door codes, whether it's like passwords, whatever. Like, I shouldn't say all this, but, I got it in notes, guys. Don't steal my phone. But yeah, anyway, that's probably my close second. But Instagram, number one for sure. Instagram for me, I think it's entertainment, but at times, even though this isn't the best source of news and information, I get a lot of it from there. Like you see it there first. Anytime anything good or bad happens, it's gonna pop up on Instagram.
Right.
But also it's a way for me to kind of keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
It's allowed me to actually really stay in touch with people that I haven't seen in years. And that's really been a cool thing with IG.
IG. When did it come out? 2009? It was around that time.
Probably around that time. Yeah.
There's looking back at it now, there's so many changes to Instagram And now it's just ads for me, bro.
That's the only thing that's killing it. You know,
Yeah.
I know that there's a machine behind that, and you know, you gotta have ad supported stuff. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
ever since Meta took over, it's kind of changed it up a little bit. Yeah.
I was going to say a joke and be like, yeah, there's so many ads now. All it is just OnlyFans ads.
And then on YouTube right now, you're watching just some ads gonna pop up right now. Cut us off mid sentence there, right?
Well, it's funny because like someone was explaining like, yeah, I hate like Instagram now. It's just like ads of like naked girls and blah blah blah. And someone's like, you know, that's like for like
Yeah.
it caters to what you're looking at, right?
I know, man. I know, like, if anybody looks at my Explore page, you're like, hey, naughty guy, what's going on here? I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
man, I just one time.
It was just one time.
Not just
Now
popping
it's
up. It wasn't just one time.
IG. How about you? Do you use any other apps besides
man.
Notes?
I want to say the most used is going to be that, obviously, you know. I mean, yeah.
Hey, Notes come a long way, man. You can draw now, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the next one, guys. Ooh, Goat Boy. Goat Boy Band.
I think we're on opposite
We're
sides
on
of the
opposite
fence
sides,
here.
yeah.
You know,
We're on
I
opposite
think
sides.
you know my answer. I know yours.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna say I think personally, the Backstreet Boys is the Goat Boy
Uh-huh.
band. And I know you're probably on the
NSYNC
You got it.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes them the GOAT?
Okay, so maybe because Backstreet Boys came out before NSYNC, and that's what was kind of in heavy rotation. Backstreet Boys to me was really interesting because it got to a point where people were like really dudes were embarrassed to admit that they like the Backstreet Boys, right? But for whatever reason, I mean, like, let's be honest, like that's probably I Want It That Way. Like that's probably one of the most number one karaoke songs of all time.
Oh
right?
yeah,
you know,
100%.
good music's good music, guys.
Good music's
Doesn't
good music.
matter, but hey man, I love the Backstreet Boys. I remember growing up listening to a lot of like hardcore gangster rap.
Yeah.
And then the BSB was always in rotation
Good
too.
music's good music, fam.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in my sister's room with the tape player, waiting for, because they had announced like what's
Yeah.
gonna play next,
Yeah.
and I'm waiting. And after that, once it starts playing, just hit record.
Hey.
It's recorded on tape, bro. Yeah, it was kind of nuts time.
Yeah. But like, so NSYNC is still goated for you?
NSYNC still goated for
Yeah.
me.
I heard that they're coming out with some new music, supposedly.
I don't know
They,
if that's
tease that
true.
every
They
year,
tease
and it
that.
never happens.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have any evidence of that, but
Well, okay, so I think Timberlake's been teasing it. But the funny thing is,
Has
like,
he?
I feel like JT had his time, and again, you know, he's goated in his own way, right?
Sure.
Obviously, the most popular member.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's kind of ran his course for him as a solo act.
Yeah.
And maybe now that nostalgia is such a big thing, he's realizing like, hey, I gotta get the boys back.
maybe, I don't know. I don't see any pushback from, like, I don't know why
Yeah.
there would be a reason not
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Versus, other than they have families or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For those guys, I grew up. Again, like it goes back to the thing where it's like, do I really like them for who they are, or
sure.
is it because I've seen their things?
Yeah.
Like that's what was in front of my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, some people argue. Okay, so if you want to talk about like old school and like where it came from, obviously like New Edition. Mm-hmm. You know, that was a big one. New
Yeah.
Kids on the Block, obviously.
Yeah, they're
You know,
pioneers.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, and you ask anybody now, they're gonna say all the K-pop stuff, obviously, right?
Oh, for sure.
But,
yeah.
I don't know. For me, American blooded, I gotta go with Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet
You go with
Boys.
NSYNC. We can agree to disagree.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can weigh that out, right?
Yeah.
For me, I think out of all of those two, not JT. Oh my gosh, what's his? I see his face.
Lance Bass.
No, the other. Why am I blanking out? Then maybe they're not the GOAT.
JC.
JC, not JT. Yeah. JC, he is just miles above anyone when it comes
Yeah.
to technicality.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that might be the reason why. That and because I sing here and there, and I like technical singers.
Gotcha.
And for him, like he's just leagues above anyone, any one of those guys. So
Gotcha.
that's probably why.
Okay, there you go.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see
What you got?
Oh, video game.
Oh.
Do I know you as a video gamer, Joe?
No. I played a lot of video games when I was younger.
Yeah.
So if I had to say GOAT, I mean, it's hard, right? So
Yeah.
what I grew up on, because I'm old. Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers. Okay.
So Super Mario Brothers, I grew up on.
You talking about SNES?
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I had the NES before that Super.
Oh yeah. Sorry, NES. Yeah.
So
I had that too.
but
Yeah.
I mean, like if I think about old school games, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Legend of Zelda. You had Tecmo Bowl. You had Contra.
Tecmo Bowl.
Contra was a big one.
Contra, my dog.
All that stuff, you know. So if I think about GOAT titles, I mean, let's think about it, man. Mario,
Those were the
Mario,
ones.
it's still relevant. They're still making games.
That's crazy.
To
That's
this day,
crazy to
right?
think
I
about,
mean, now they're going into the movies, and they just came out with that movie. I know they're gonna do a whole series on that, but just they've maintained relevancy, and I want to say that they started it all pretty much. I mean, people can argue there were titles before them, but when you think about like just characters that are iconic,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
for sure, I think so. That's would probably be my GOAT, Super Mario Brothers. Yeah,
I mean, that was a.
well, Super Mario Brothers 2 actually. That was the
Oh
better
yeah,
game.
yeah. Not the yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going on over walking to my friend's house, which is kind of far now that I think of it. When I was young, just to play like those games, Super
sure.
Mario,
For
Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Duck Hunt was another one.
Did you have a system growing up?
SNES.
Okay.
The NES I played at my friend's house, but
yeah.
that's when I was kind of opened up to the world
Got
of like
it. Yeah.
gaming.
Did you ever have like the other ones like Sega and then
No, it was mostly like
Xbox?
GameCube. No,
Gotcha.
Xbox, even PS2 would be the other one, or PS1. But GOAT game for me is this game called Dota 2.
Yeah, you talked about this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is like, it's like chess.
Okay.
There's so many, it's a 5v5. There's two bases, I guess, and each, you pick a hero before the match starts, and each hero has like 4 different spells or abilities. You just have to work as a team to continue to take base after base until you reach the main one.
Interesting.
When I say it's like chess, there's so many variables. It's just way too many variables for the game, on how the game can go, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much.
What does Dota mean?
Defense of the Ancients. So
okay, it's like an acronym then.
Yeah, it's an acronym,
okay.
but it's called Dota 2 because the first Dota was actually a community-based game off of World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay,
It was like a
interesting.
sub game.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And that's how they started. Steam, who is like one of the biggest gaming platform, I don't know what you would call them. They're like the people that use that platform to play games on Steam.
Gotcha.
But they hired the guy who created that to make an actual game for them.
Cool.
Yeah. But to give context, the last tournament, the main tournament, I think the prize pool was like 14 million or something.
What?
Yeah, bro, it's huge. It's huge.
You know,
millions of users. Yeah,
esports it's a real thing. It's crazy.
It's nuts. I heard colleges are starting to have teams, which is cool.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I personally think it's cool. I think it's wild. Like it's like if your kid was just like, "Hey man, I want to be a professional gamer," and you're like, "All right," you know what I mean? But you know what? But it's like in the same vein of somebody being like, "Hey, I want to be stand-up comedian." You're like, "Well, take it easy there.
Yeah.
Take it easy." But you know, kids nowadays, it's interesting because even if they might not get to that level, if you just look at like the streaming platform, like Twitch and whatnot, just how many millions of people watch people playing video games?
Yeah,
it's insane. Like there's just such an audience for that,
right?
And people can monetize like crazy.
Oh
man.
yeah, people make a living.
Bank.
Yeah.
So if my kid was just like, "Hey, I want to do this," I'm like, "Well, first of all,
yeah.
let's talk logistics.
Let me see.
Remember who's paying the electricity bill? Here.
Yeah.
Remember who bought you this PC?
What's your kill death average?
We gotta talk about stats first before.
Stats first. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I totally forgot. It crossed my mind, but Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah,
Counter-Strike's
good, and then man, COD obviously for me, Modern Warfare. Yeah. I mean, I classics, OG, Mario Brothers, current COD. All the way.
Man, COD was such a game changer for when I was growing up.
Yeah.
It was so fun. The COD now, it's so fast paced, and there's a lot of distractions on the screen.
Yeah.
Whereas the old one,
Oh, yeah,
if
it's
you
simple.
kill somebody,
Yep.
you just see you killed blah blah
Yep,
blah the
yep,
name,
yep.
and there's just a shot of adrenaline, like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah. Well, what I don't like about it now, I mean, and this is more just for like, okay, so Call of Duty Mobile, obviously, and then Warzone. You know, like I don't like how they're kind of following the times of where what is that called? Oh my god, Fortnite. You know, like how it you kind of just use what's current and relevant, and then they kind of
Sure.
make different skins, and then
Yeah.
you get all these fantasy weapons. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, I just want army dudes
I want real
shooting
weapons.
army dudes. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want this guy to have an M4 and be in camo,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like, I don't need him
Yep.
with a cape and a freaking sword. You know, what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
this isn't Call of Duty.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I hear you, bro.
That's the only thing that kind of drives me crazy. You look at my skin; it's just like straight up like army commando.
Straight. Yeah.
you
You're
know? Ghost till I die, bro. You know,
there
Yeah.
you go, COD, man. But I don't know, like, how are they gonna make it better than? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, you know, you just look at like the online communities that they've built. It's just going to continue to grow. And again, I think that's just the sign of the times. They're going to just try to find ways to make things relevant.
Yeah.
So, you know, for purists, it's a little bit different than what they originally started. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Warzone Mobile.
There you
I'll
go.
be on that. You know
yeah,
that.
yeah. You got your boys that you play with.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
You got headcoms and stuff.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
that'd be fun.
well, you know, on mobile, yeah. I got my headset in.
There
but-
you go. Yeah, it's always fun, man. Like playing with friends.
Yeah.
Funny story. When I played Counter Strike, we played on a team, and you know, every day you learn about each other, how they are, how they
Yeah.
respond. You just kind of form this avatar of these
Yes,
people,
yeah.
and they become really close friends.
And you not even meet them.
And yeah,
in
you
real
don't
life.
even.
Yep.
But I decided to fly out to San Diego to meet them.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
bro.
they were cool in real life.
Yeah, super
That's
cool.
awesome,
yeah,
man.
there's
That-
same people that I know online.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
These Filipinos, man. Onsane, shout out Team Onsane.
Hey.
That was right on. All right, let's move on. Let's move to the next one. Shoe brand sneaker.
It had to come up at some point, man.
At some point.
All
I'm gonna
right.
start this one off.
Yes, please.
And say the silhouettes or shoe brand. Oh dang.
Go with shoe brand first.
Go with shoe brand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. Now I think about it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man.
GOAT for everyone, I think would be Nike.
Yeah. Yeah.
For everyone, I would say.
Yeah.
As I'm jumping on to the next thing, it would be the next GOAT for me is New Balance.
Yep.
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 I think for me these days, ever since I got the V4s,
Got it.
but just the 990 in general,
Mm-hmm.
that silhouette, V4 particularly for me is the GOAT right now.
Yeah.
When I talk about that shoe, I think about comfort. I think about style.
Yeah.
I think about timeless color.
Yes.
With the
grays.
grays.
Yep.
Yep. And just the flexibility of that shoe. Like you can wear them all types of ways.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
applicable to, I think it's applicable to really anybody. From kids to adults to
sure.
grandpas.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, man, that's where I'm at right now.
Did you get your 993s?
I did. I got my 993s.
Yeah.
I finally got the
How you like
crepe.
the,
Is
how
that
you like
crepes?
how you like the fit on them?
It's good. It's good.
good.
It's
Yeah.
I like them. I usually put insoles, power step insoles
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for to battle what you call
Flat foot?
the lumbar.
Oh, yeah.
Fasciitis.
Gotcha.
Yeah, plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
I don't need it these days, but I like it because it feels good.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's gonna work with that one.
Gotcha.
But using the normal, the regular one that they put on, it's fine right now.
Decent. Battery
Yeah.
for $200.
Oh, bro.
Hey man, that price point ain't no joke.
It's
That's
they-
the one. That's the one barrier. I feel like.
That
I feel
is.
like, and, you know,
Yeah.
obviously, if you're in the resale market, you're gonna pay premium. But
Yeah.
like, just MSRP at 220. That's wild, man.
220 is
That's an
nuts.
expensive shoe,
That's
right?
nuts.
Yeah.
I looked at the V6s
Yeah.
recently because I
Yeah.
still have them. I didn't
Yeah.
sell them. Tried them on. I was like, these aren't so bad.
Yeah.
And it fit better. you know, sometimes your foot will like they'll expand and just a little bit. It was fitting a little bit better today. I was
Yeah.
like, God dang it! Should I keep them? Those V6s are growing on me, bro.
They are. I like them.
They're sleek. They're
Absolutely.
still timeless, but more on the sleek
Yeah.
side that caters to more the newer generation.
You got it.
Yeah. What about you, bro?
Okay, so GOAT brand, gotta go with Nike.
Yeah.
Nike's just timeless, man. I mean, you know, I know there are a lot of brands out there that have been around for a very long time. Obviously Adidas, obviously New Balance, Reebok, and whatnot. But if you just look at like who's been just kind of cream of the crop,
Yeah.
Nike's been on top for
Yeah.
years, right? They got that market share. I think the fact that they own Jordan Brand is a huge thing too.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So silhouette wise, I was a little conflicted because as of late, definitely 990 V6 is what I've been wearing daily. Run the hell.
How
out
much
of-
you got of those?
I got
yo?
4 pairs.
Let's go.
Yeah, but you know, and I rotate that pretty frequently. But if I had to think about like just GOAT silhouette,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Air Max ones.
Ooh, that's not a bad
Yeah,
pick.
no, the
That's
M
not
ones,
a bad
man.
pick.
Like something about that 87 silhouette where back in 87, I mean, you wear it now, you're like, these are fresh shoes, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so back in 87, those are like, what? You
Yeah.
know? It's
Yeah.
crazy that it's stood the test of time where
Yeah.
you can still pick up a AM1 and they look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I know people have different. Some people like the 90s, the 95s, and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just a OG
Yeah.
Air
like
Max
the ones.
One dude. And yeah, they fall well with the pants, man. You know,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, it's a good silhouette to stack your jeans with. Dress them up, dress them down.
Yeah.
They just work and they're comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I've definitely worn more cush shoes, but as far as me being comfortable all day, I can still rock those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many do you have a pair?
I got
right now?
one right now. I got the Concepts collab with them, and that one is dope. But yeah, I'm always in the market. I've owned many pairs, and
Yeah.
then I'll just wear the hell out of them and just get rid of them at some point. But I'm kind of looking around right now just for something. Right now
Yeah.
they're on Nike by You, so I might
Oh, okay.
I might design a pair.
Design.
It's so
Those
funny.
are fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I think it's like 180, and I'm like, I'm being so cheap, man. I don't know, dude. It's so funny.
It's
like
custom ones, huh?
yeah, it's so weird where you're like, you know, you look at New Balance, you're like 220, you're like, no, I can't do that. And then
Custom.
you see one for like 199, you're like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's like stupid, right?
The numbers, that's weird. Yeah.
But yeah, man, Nike all the way for me.
Nike, right
Yep,
on.
yep.
All right, let's move on to the next one. You had something?
No.
Oh, fast food.
Ooh, my favorite topic. All right, this
Man.
is like how much of a fat kid are you?
Bro.
I could talk all day about fast
Just fast food in general, man.
Yeah.
So like Josh gets off work around later during the day, like at night.
Yeah.
Sometimes the only things that are open after we put Zoe down
yep.
are just fast food, and it's like
YPO got that strip, man.
we got that strip, bro. let me talk about
Yeah.
that. We got
McDonald's
We
at the
got
top.
McDonald's.
Yep.
We got Wendy's.
Yep.
We got Jack in the Box.
Yep.
Got Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that strip.
You got
Yeah.
the heavy hitters.
We got
right
the heavy
there.
yo
It's way too
YPO,
convenient.
man. I love YPO. Let me
Yeah.
just shout out YPO. If I had to buy a house,
Yeah.
if I could choose an area, it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
YPO.
Yep,
YPO is awesome, man.
All you need is a Popeyes right there. You're just
Oh.
you're like I'm never
Yo.
leaving.
Yo, Popeyes would complete the circle.
Oh, for sure.
That would complete the
For
circle.
sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you thought about your goat
Yeah.
fast food,
Oh, I would have to go with McDonald's.
really? Okay.
Only because of memories growing up. And
Yeah.
Man, I remember when McDonald's had like $4.99 meals. It was yeah, man, and just the toys
Yeah.
back then were just like fire. Talk about like Hercules plates. Talk about the Disney, the clear cups.
Yep.
Yeah, man, they were bangers back in the day. These days, man, you get a large drink for $1.50 and they raised the price to $1.50 versus $1.
Yo,
That's why I'm mad.
I just went to McDonald's the other night.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do this dumb thing where I'm like, okay, I don't buy the extra. So I don't know if the math is mathing here.
Boy, man.
I don't buy the extra value meals because I think I'm saving money, but I feel like you actually save money if you buy the meals. So I'll go like, hey, I want a large fries, and then I'll buy the sandwich a la carte, and then I'm like, I think I'm paying the same price, and I don't
No
got a
way.
drink here. Like the people are like, you sure you want to do that?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to drink because in my head I'm like, I got drinks
It's
at
true.
home. No, in my head, I'm all like, I really shouldn't drink so much soda, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna eat 2 Big Macs right now.
That'll be $18.95.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, so the other night I bought a quarter pounder deluxe.
'Kay.
Okay, and then I bought a fillet of fish.
Like eat like
Yeah, a la carte.
Yo.
But so I bought a fillet of fish, and then I came home and I was ready to just rip this. And we just talked about fillet of fish in
Yep.
another episode, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the size of the fillet of fish now?
No, but I'm guessing it's like this,
Bro, it is literally it shrank. It shrank.
Dude, everything's shrinking.
It shrank, and then it got more expensive. It's $6 now.
Yo, that's insane.
I know, man.
That's crazy. What is happening?
I was literally like, I was like, I don't even want to eat this because it was so like.
Bro, no way.
Well, and I didn't even look at the menu. I'm like, oh, fillet of fish, whatever, and I'm like,
Bro,
why is this $24
That's the one mistake.
for 3 things? I was like, what the heck? And then I came
Yeah.
home and I was so disappointed.
Yo.
I know.
Try checking out the app, bro.
I heard it's better. So every time you pull up,
You'll
they're
get
like, you want to
more-
order from the app, and you're like, nah. And then they're like, and then the voice changes. You're like, and you're like,
Yeah.
who am I talking to? Like,
Yeah.
was I talking to somebody else? Like, yeah.
But check out the app, bro. If you're planning to go McDonald's.
Okay.
It's-
McDonald's-
you get
good
deals.
choice.
You get deals
Good
on the
choice,
apps.
good
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay, so GOAT. I gotta go with Taco Bell, man. I gotta go with Taco Bell.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool
Growing
with that.
up, Taco Bell was not just the place to eat; it was the place to meet.
Oh, gotcha.
So back on the Big Island, Kailua Kona, there was a parking lot behind Taco Bell where we would just do all kinds of nonsense, and that was where we would meet. Like, okay, where are we going? Taco Bell. Just kind of just side stories, context here.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot to do when you're growing up in Kona except drive around. So
Mm-hmm.
literally, you just meet until you get kicked out of someplace, and then you go meet someplace else. So Taco Bell was one of the spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Taco Bell 9 o'clock, everybody just meets there in the parking lot.
Was
Yeah.
it a 24-hour?
It wasn't.
Or
It
like
wasn't.
a 12 a.m.?
Yeah, it was still
okay.
late. It was still late. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember eating that so much growing up. I
Yeah.
mean, I ate a lot of McDonald's, but I think because in high school, that's all I ate. Like,
Yeah.
just Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It kind of just stayed with me. And, I'll be honest, like the food's crap. Like, it's not good, but it's just reminiscent. And,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of nostalgia attached to it.
Yeah.
Mexican pizzas all day, every day.
Mexican pizzas.
I hate how they just take that off the menu.
They
and
don't
it's-
have that.
And then they'll add it every once in a while to,
I wonder why they do that.
I think it's back on right now. Shoot,
Shoot, we might have to get that
yeah,
tonight.
it's just kind of like limited editions, right? So they know what they're doing. They take it off, and then when it
Let's
comes
hope
back,
so.
it just spikes sales, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, man, I that's pretty much it. Like, what do you order when you go Taco Bell?
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's the Power Bowls. Dude, I love those. I don't care what anyone says.
They're good.
I was gonna say they're better than Chipotle.
Well, you
But
know
no, they're not.
you know what's funny is just you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthy today.
Power Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh, this has got to be healthy. You
But
look
I-
at the sodium intake. You're like, wait a second.
400 grams. But I always get that with I replace the beans with more rice.
Oh, okay.
Bro, I used to buy side rice from there because I
Yeah.
love Mexican
Yeah,
rice.
yeah.
I just love rice in general.
Yeah.
But every time I talk about Mexican rice,
Yeah.
I could eat that on its own.
Oh, absolutely.
What about you? What did you get over there?
Mexican? Okay, so this is what's fun. This is what my brain is discovering. I always get a Mexican pizza,
Yeah.
and then I get a Nacho Bell Grande, and then I think to myself like, damn, it's the same ingredients from both, basically.
Just different
It's just cheese and beef, man. Like, I'm dumb. Like, I just bought 2 of the same thing.
the same thing.
I'm just basically eating like a tostada.
Yeah.
That's basically a big version of the Nacho Bell Grande, but
Yeah,
I, don't know, I
yeah,
just
yeah.
like melted cheese.
Hey, man, melted cheese is good.
Yeah, man.
Melted
Yeah,
cheese is good.
I used to get the 7-layer burrito, and then what is the twist called? The cinnamon twist. One?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That,
Cinnamon twist.
Tristan loves those, so I get that, and then yeah, man. Power balls.
I love Power Bowl. Steak,
it's-
gotta be steak.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be the steak one.
Yeah,
like, hey
yeah.
man, I really gotta watch what I'm eating. So yeah, you gotta add that one in there.
Gotta add. Notable mention is orders wise, 2
Yep.
tacos from Jack in the Box,
Oh.
bro. That's a staple growing up.
You have
That's
to.
a staple
You
growing
like,
up.
and you feel guilty. You're like, they're like anything else. You're like, oh, 2 tacos.
2 tacos, yeah, 2 orders of 2 tacos.
Yeah. That's 4.
Wait, that's 4.
Yeah.
you have to clarify. You have to clarify.
I know.
You know what?
Okay. The worst feeling in the world is when you go home because the wife always be like, "Did you check?" And you're like, "Yeah." And you come home, and you're like, "Oh shit, where's this?" And then you're like, do I drive back there and make a scene?
Yeah.
Because you forgot my, like whatever, right?
Not whatever. Buttermilk. Did you forget my freaking buttermilk?
Yeah, dude. I
Bro.
swear to God. And like, yeah, and they'll be like, oh, where's the buttermilk? You're like,
Oh, sorry, hon.
yeah. Oh, the other night I almost lost it because I went to Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
And then I see curly fries, and then I go home and it's regular fries, and I literally almost drove back, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look like a psycho because I already ate half the fries. Like, me like, what? Did you eat half of them? Or like, no, it came like that.
And you sucking guys want to raise the minimum wage.
I know.
You suckers. Yeah. 2 tacos.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to the
Okay,
next one.
next one.
Ooh, favorite rapper.
Okay. This is hard, man. You know, you and I both love rap.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the GOAT answer that I think most people would say.
That's rough. Is there one?
Okay, so
That's
if I had to just go based off of public opinion, I would probably lean more towards Jay.
Okay.
Okay, as the GOAT,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you have people that will say if Tupac and Biggie had not passed tragically, the trajectory that they were on would have surpassed Jay.
Yeah.
And again, I told you like Tupac's my favorite rapper,
Yeah.
right? So if I were to say my personal opinion, GOAT, Tupac,
Okay.
but I'm gonna have to go with Jay-Z as far as
Everyone.
cultural relevancy,
Okay.
as far as he's kind of transcended rap at this point. So like you've kind of made your mark when you kind of have the respect of the entire genre, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. What about you?
So how do I preface this? I don't think I have the catalog of listening, like listening wise.
Yeah.
But for me, it's hard to consider. It would be those top 3 for everyone that I've heard.
Gotcha.
It's either one of those 3 guys.
Yeah.
For me, man, it's hard. Off the top of my head, there's 3 stacks. There's 3 stacks.
Good.
K Dot.
Okay, so now you're talking about rapping ability, right? Or just
That's why it's hard because it's
Yeah,
like, do we judge them or do we think about like collectively or just a rapper as a rapper? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's say your personal favorite then, if you had to pick. Or I think you're probably gonna say Cole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually the one out of those 3 lists.
Yeah.
If I could say who I've listened to more is probably J. Cole.
Yeah.
Who I know more lyrics of from J. Cole. But in terms of like storytelling, 3 Stacks and K Dot, like their storytelling just. I mean, Nas too. It's hard not to say.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much that goes into it. You're talking not just ability, but persona.
Persona,
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you talk about just rapping ability, it's 3 Stacks, it's K Dot, it's J. Cole.
Yeah.
I want to say those are probably the highest level of rappers. I mean, you gotta put Eminem in there, even if it's not my cup of tea, but you gotta put it in rapping ability wise.
You have to, yeah.
So there's so much to that. But if you just think about like who's got the most cultural relevancy.
Oh yeah, cultural. Probably Jay. Probably Jay-Z. Yeah.
For sure.
There's now I'm listening to him more, but Denzel Curry.
Good. Have you heard him do Rage Against the Machine?
No.
He's got a cover of Bulls on Parade.
But I like where his
Yeah.
I noticed that for each of his albums, he has a certain goal in terms of the music that he raps to. But him too. I'm starting to like him a lot more.
Sure.
Denzel Curry.
And it's hard too, right? Because you again, I don't consider it just rap, but you cannot discount Drake and you can't discount Ye, right? I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're like the Ye podcast because we're always just celebrating Kanye with his crazy ass doing crazy stuff. But
man.
Did you watch his Super Bowl commercial?
No.
Did you hear about that?
No. I mean, I heard he did one.
It's the funniest thing that I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
So he's basically like, "Oh, we spent all this money on the spot, and we didn't even spend money on the actual commercial." And it's him on his iPhone talking into the iPhone.
Wow.
And it's basically just him saying, "Go on Yeezy.com." And then he priced everything at $20, like, you know, like that thing you sent me. And
Yeah.
he made a fortune off. I mean, if you look at like, people are like, what? He spent $7 million on a spot?
Yep.
But what he brought in revenue?
Yeah.
You watch the commercial. It's hilarious.
I gotta check that out.
I thought it was like, I was like, what? Did this air really? Because it's just him talking into his phone.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's
crazy.
so random and he sounds insane, but it worked.
So that post that I sent you for our listeners, it was this guy just kind of analyzing his move with
Yep.
that
The economics of
the
it.
economics of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because what he mentioned was that he spent about $7 million for however long commercial it was,
30 seconds.
But what he got back was his analytics of the type of product that people like, how much, because it was the same price,
$20.
$20, he can figure out just like that which product stacks up the
Yeah.
most. The other thing was that he can pay, because it was a pre-order, he can pay all of that off.
Yep.
For production, whatever it is.
absolutely.
Yeah, and there's another thing too, but I was like, man, this guy, he's
And what's
got it.
crazy is that, you know, everybody, you know, again, his recent fashion isn't for me, but what he's been wearing is basically what they sold. And it's just like, it's so funny because he's got such a fandom behind him.
Yeah.
People have just been clamoring for all the stuff he's been wearing lately.
Yeah.
And then it was on the website for $20.
That's crazy.
I mean, because you look at any other Yeezy product prior to this, hundreds of dollars, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
$20, people
Yeah.
are buying like multiples of everything.
Yeah, that's
Wild. But I mean, it's a genius move. Obviously, he's got a good team behind him.
yeah.
I think somebody probably could work on his PR a little bit. But I mean, yeah, man, you know, again, if you want to talk about cultural relevancy, you cannot discount Ye. He's transcended rap.
Yeah. Let's move on.
All right.
Advice.
Oh,
Goat advice.
Yeah, man.
One that sticks out to me, Joe, is one from my dad.
Yep.
And it was two simple words. It's be pragmatic.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite things
Explain,
that I've
please.
heard.
I like that.
So being pragmatic is move forward logically,
Okay.
and just that's what it was, to analyze everything that's real,
Okay.
and not have any. He didn't say this, but for me, it was like not have any emotion behind it. Maybe not zero at all, but
Just be
try
logical.
not to
Be
be
logical.
logical.
Yeah.
Be logical, because when you start to cater to something that's not true, then things might not go the way that it should be going.
Okay.
And then it skews things, I guess, in a sense. I'm talking about like how things progress and whatnot.
Gotcha.
But I was a big romantic person back in the day. And just going based off of feelings and writing songs, songs for girls and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. I was just kind of infatuated with that. But then what I was missing was actually looking at things that I needed to work on,
Okay.
which would have saved a relationship, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Besides, sulking and writing songs or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it was,
yeah.
right? It's
Emo
to
days.
actually emo days, man. It's to actually put in the work and see what you did wrong.
Got it.
Versus pointing fingers and being emotionally
Being self-aware.
being self-aware. Yep.
Okay.
That was mine. That's
really
yeah.
good. That's really good. Yeah, man. Shout outs to dads. I think my best advice probably came from my dad. Where, and I said this before, but his mentality of just, it's not that serious.
I love
I've only adopted recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone into my 40s just taking everything too seriously. Where like things just seem like world ending, and they're not. Whether it's like anything, relationships, friendships, work, things just seem so heavy and big. And then when you kind of zoom out and just look at things in perspective, you're like, it's not that serious. It really isn't. And not to discount anybody's feelings that might be involved in things, but especially with work, I think that's probably the biggest example for me where, I'll be honest, I take my work serious. I'm very passionate about it and I love it, but I'm not curing cancer. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So there's things where like you got to think to yourself, like, can I leave this for tomorrow? Will it still be here tomorrow, or do I need to just stress out about this and lose sleep over it? No, you don't.
Right.
Again, there are things that are important that take place every single day, But if you put it in context to whatever else is going on with you, it's
Yeah.
not that serious, man. It really isn't.
That's so good.
And ever
Yeah.
since I kind of adopted that mentality, I'm able to clock out and feel good about my life.
That's
Really.
gems, man.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are picking up these gems. There's something that someone mentioned online where it's like, you know, you've been working for this company for 20 years and they decide to let you go only to find out that they can replace you just like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard, right? When you're knee deep in it and you think like, I am irreplaceable. Like if I'm not here, this place would
Everything
never
crumbles.
make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that, hey man, that's not reality.
That's not reality.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean don't take pride in your work, but you need to realize that, hey, you know, you need to realize that there are much more important things going on than just what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, yeah, as much as you might love work and the things that you do and the people that you work with, there are things that are much more important that should take precedence in your life. And I think just kind of keeping that perspective,
Yeah.
it'll allow you to just have a better work-life balance.
I love that. To kind of add to that, I was driving, I don't know, it was yesterday or this morning, but I was like, man, there's people that are gonna work an extra hour or two to get another whatever pay you get.
Yeah.
But what's the ROI on that versus spending time with your family? Would
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
if you weigh that out, it shouldn't. It's
For
a
sure.
no-brainer. You should
For
be
sure.
spending time with your family.
There you go.
Yeah, that's solid advice.
like
Shouts out, Dad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. What we got? Oh, musician.
Ooh, okay.
It's
All right.
funny that I seen this one. I was like, I left this one blank because I don't really know.
Well, okay, so
Can you set some parameters on
yeah,
this,
man,
or
absolutely. Okay, so for me, GOAT musician would be someone that just. Okay, so for me, I'm just gonna say Prince would probably be the
Gotcha.
GOAT musician.
Okay.
Plays every instrument, has a vocal range that's insane,
yeah,
has just a catalog that just goes beyond. Someone that would probably be a close second would be like Elton John.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So that's when I think about a musician. You think about like a complete musician.
Complete musician.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
the 1% or maybe multiple musician wise. Shoot, Brian McKnight maybe.
Brian McKnight's great.
Yeah,
Brian
on the
McKnight's-
piano,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's solid, bro.
Absolutely.
He's solid.
Absolutely.
Do you keep up with that guy? Dude, that guy's
Oh, he's got some wild
he's
stuff
got
going
some
on, man.
crazy
That's a wild boy.
stuff. Yeah,
He married a Hawaii girl too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some stuff going
Yeah,
on
man.
there. I think of him when I think about musicality. I mean, it really depends what
Sure. I mean,
what
okay,
route
so
you wanna
maybe
take,
not
right?
on the GOAT list yet.
Yeah.
But if he continues to put out good music, like someone like Bruno Mars is a complete musician.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Someone like that. That's what I think. I'm just trying to think other people that just have just such a musical mind.
Yeah.
You know, you can argue someone like Pharrell, who's just a producer, but
Right,
also
right.
just, understands music.
Music, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, like it's hard because I know production is a whole different thing, but like, you talk about like Dre or Kanye or something like that.
Yeah.
They're, they kind of run the gamut of like what a musician is because they understand how to put music together.
Yeah, yeah. When I think about like pure musicians,
Yes.
a lot of I can't think of the top of my head, but names in the gospel community.
Yep.
There's some guys who
I'm
just
sure.
like hop on the drums and then hop on bass
Yep.
and then hop on piano who are like so
Yep.
sick.
Yep.
But those are some people that I think of when I think of musicality,
Yeah.
people in the gospel community.
Good.
Another one. See, now I'm just thinking musicians
Sure,
that I
sure,
feel
sure.
like that are good. Chet Baker is a jazz.
yeah.
Yeah,
talked
he's
about
a
that.
jazz trumpeter. He sings too, but he's not like the best singer. But in terms of like trumpet and like the feel that he's given,
sure.
can't discount the feel that
Yeah.
musician gives off. Yeah, that's another one.
Good.
But yeah, that's kind of like the guys
Yeah,
that I think of.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Next one is gonna be historical figure.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't get in trouble here. Let's see. Historical figures. When I think about people that kind of have just made a pivotal difference in our world, MLK probably is up there. Civil rights movement. You know, obviously, I think anybody growing up in America probably takes for granted the amount of freedom that we have when it comes. And you know, what's sad is that the journey still hasn't. It still hasn't come to fruition entirely. I think when you think about just all the civil injustices, racial inequality, you know, systemic racism, all that, we're not there yet as a country. But that was kind of a catalyst to get the change going, right? So, you know, when I think about just pivotal historical figures, I probably got to go at Martin Luther King. Yeah.
That's top. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's off dome what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Off the dome, there's what's that called? That movie? Was it Schindler's List?
Yeah.
Was it the story of that was that he hid
he helped the Jewish people, like so he basically said they were essential workers in his factories, which helped keep them alive. So you know, because he said he was implying this group of of Jewish people in Germany during that time of persecution, like he was able to save that
so
group.
that was the first person I thought of.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Historical figure. I will be transparent and need to like study up on history.
Yeah.
But that's one person I think of. Yeah, man. That was the only one.
Man. that works. That works. Yeah.
I mean, MLK is just that's kind of like almost a given. Yeah. And like you said, it's not at the spot that we want to be at, but
it was a start.
That
was a start. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Streaming service.
Ooh, okay.
Streaming
this
service.
One is debatable, man. So if I were to say GOAT, I'm gonna go with Netflix, old school, right?
Yeah.
Old school originator, OG. But what I utilize the most, I'm probably gonna go HBO Max.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Netflix had its time. It's got very good catalog that's wide, but because the catalog's so big, I mean, half of it honestly I don't watch because it's not for me.
Gotcha.
Versus HBO. The funny thing about HBO is I don't really watch it for the movies. The movies are kind of mediocre, their catalog, but original content, they have the best TV shows. HBO TV shows are hands down, bar none, the best.
Yeah, HBO's been popping, man.
Yeah.
Was it HBO Max?
HBO Max. You know, not just Max.
Max.
Max, right? They're just blending all these companies and merging. So it's just Max now, but HBO OG.
I would go the same for the GOATs, Netflix.
Yeah.
I remember when they first came out.
Did you used to get the DVDs?
Yeah.
Man.
Those are the days, man. I think I was cleaning out something and I saw at my parents' house a Netflix DVD. I was like, oh shoot, I never
I'm still getting charged for this?
Yeah. But Netflix is probably just kind of like the GOAT streaming service.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you consider YouTube a streaming service. Probably not. Yeah, that's more of a.
That's interesting.
Video.
You could. I mean, now that they have YouTube TV, it's considered.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe
YouTube's taking over though because they're hitting that sports market right now.
Oh yeah.
And I know you know. I think it's kind of pricey. I think it's like $50-$60 a month, but you can have access to everything.
It's I might consider that.
Yeah. You know, the idea is to kind of, it's so funny, right? When streaming became a thing, they're like, cut the cable. Yeah. And then now you got like 20 freaking streaming services.
I know.
And you're paying like twice as much.
Yeah.
Boy, math, I'm dumb.
I guess the only difference is you can choose what you want to watch.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know, I've never, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I have so much streaming services, I can't keep up. I can't. Everybody's like, "You watch that?" I'm like, "I have it available. It's in my queue. I haven't watched it because there's too much things to watch."
I was gonna say, I've never considered doing YouTube Premium.
Yeah,
but every time we're Zoe's watching her shows, and like a weird ad comes up, I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see this, or I don't want her to see this. So I'm like. So I was like, shoot, Joss, do you want to, you think we should get, it might be that time. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Right.
Ooh, TV series.
All right, man. Here we go.
Ever since you put me on the bear, that might have topped the other series that I considered.
What else would you put in that realm, like as far as your favorites?
In my GOATs lineup, I have the Burn Notice.
Burn Notice is good.
Burn Notice.
That was really good.
I love the storytelling. I love the writing there.
Yeah,
Burn
yeah.
Notice. How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
And Psych.
Psych was really
Psych.
good.
Woo,
That was
if-
really good.
If someone knows Psych and they can, they bring up like references.
yeah.
I already know we could be like good friends because the jokes in there, it's just like very.
Was Psych USA as well?
Yeah, you say.
Okay, so I remember Burn Notice, Psych, and then they had Monk, and then they had
Monk, yeah.
Suits, right? Suits is
So
another
was Suits
big
on
one.
there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are good ones. Psych was really good.
Psych is. If I could choose one, it might be Psych. Psych might be top.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Psych might be top.
There you go. Did
Yeah.
you like Scrubs?
No, I didn't watch.
You didn't watch Scrubs?
Didn't watch
Okay.
Scrubs. Yeah.
GOAT TV series. Okay, so God, this one's hard. My top 3 have not the order has changed.
Yeah.
But as far as like what I've always said are the best shows of all time, Breaking Bad, let's see, The Wire, and Sopranos. And I've gone on record saying that The Wire is the greatest TV show of all time. I just
Yes.
recently rewatched it, and it is amazing, and I love it. It's still very, very good. But I'm gonna put Sopranos over The Wire. I had to watch it again recently
Yeah.
to kind of be like, okay, do I still love it as much? And it's very good. But I want to see Sopranos is a better show. I think that's the greatest show of all time.
I've seen some lists and Sopranos were up there. Yeah.
It's funny because HBO, man. I mean, they got the hits, dude. Game of Thrones, Sex and the
Thrones.
City,
Yeah.
Sopranos, The Wire. There's so many good shows that came out.
Jon Snow was one of the fictional characters that I was thinking of too.
That's
Jon
a good
Snow.
one. That's a really
Because
good
I
one.
look at the history of what he's been through and what
Did
he's
you
seen.
finish the series?
Yeah,
Have you watched House of Dragons yet?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was tough because
You're comparing it to the original?
Yeah, and I as much as I don't want to do that, you can't compare something that has a catalog of 7 seasons or something like that,
Yeah.
versus this one. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's
Gotcha.
always tough. But Jon Snow was one of the other.
good.
Was that this episode?
Huh?
Recent. Last episode. Yeah, fictional,
okay.
yeah.
Last episode.
Yeah.
Recent. Okay, so not on my GOAT list, but recent things that I've watched lately. I just told you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, man.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
Okay.
So good.
Ooh.
So good. Donald Glover, Maya Erskine. I love what they're doing with the show.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people remember the Brad Pitt
Sure.
and Angelina Jolie movie, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, is it like that?" And it's in the same universe. It's not the same story at all. And I don't want to
Yeah.
ruin it, but it's a spy show, but the premise is completely
So
different.
can't come in with the expectations.
Can't come in with the expectations. It's very funny. It's very witty, and
Yeah.
the dialogue is amazing. But it explores relationships, so it's not really, you're not going there for the action. It's
Yeah.
Surprisingly, even though there is action sequences, it's
Yeah.
more about the dialogue and the exploration of what it means to be in a relationship in modern time.
From the sneak peeks,
Yeah.
the dialogue was really good. Yeah.
Well, it's the same team, right? So Donald Glover is one of the writers, obviously.
Gotcha.
And then Hiro Murai, who directs a lot of the episodes, did Atlanta with him.
I was gonna say it's probably guys from
Yeah.
Atlanta.
So it's
Yeah.
the same team that did Atlanta, and that's a GOAT show in itself. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Movie
Oh, interesting. Back to back.
back to back.
All right, man. Well, not fair. I mean, Lost in Translation,
Yeah.
greatest movie of all
guys know
time. We
Jalen.
talked about that.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
that's my top romantic movie.
Yep.
That's my top movie of all time. What I believe would be the correct answer for
Sure.
most people would be The Godfather.
Gotcha.
Godfather 2 specifically,
Specifically.
over Godfather 1. Probably one of the best storytelling. It's probably one of the most epic storytelling of all time. Character development.
Yeah.
You really care about this family and what happens with them. You get invested in their struggles, their triumphs and their tragedies. It's a crime saga, I think Godfather is Godfather 2 is probably the greatest movie of all time.
Ooh.
But again, yeah, Lost in
Lost in
Translation. What about you?
No surprise, Count of Monte Cristo.
Hey,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's a good one.
Count of Monte Cristo? Yeah, I feel like we mentioned
Did you
it here,
read
man.
that book?
No, I did not.
Here I go again.
No. Did you read that?
No, I did not.
But Count of Monte Cristo, Jim Caviezel.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah.
And a young Henry Cavill.
No, it's not Henry Cavill.
It's Henry Cavill, bro.
Are you sure? Superman?
Yeah, young.
No, bro.
let's-
no. Henry Cavill wasn't even around during that time. I kid you not. It's what's his name? The guy.
It's not Henry Cavill.
It's not Henry Cavill.
It is.
Guy Pearce.
There's no way it's a guy. Oh,
It's Guy Pearce.
no. We're talking about two different ones. Henry
Oh.
Cavill was a son.
Really?
Yeah, he
In
was
that
on.
movie?
In that movie, he
No
was a son.
way.
He was a son of the real wife, or
Okay,
but Guy Pearce was
Guy
the
Pearce and
yeah,
okay,
yeah. But I was
gotcha.
correct. Yeah, Henry Cavill, young,
Now I gotta watch this again.
a young, skinny, still a nice jawline. Henry Cavill. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yep, but Count of Monte Cristo, man, the classic case of revenge.
Yes.
In the most
Calculated.
calculated
Yeah.
and moral way. I don't know if I want to say
no,
moral.
you
Revenge
got,
is
you
kind
got
of
the
bad.
Count of Monte Cristo, and then you got Old Boy. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the two separate, different spectrum. Like revenge movies on
Yo.
complete opposite spectrum.
Old Boy just blew my mind, bro. It's
That is the
These
most
Koreans,
sinister,
man.
sinister way of getting revenge.
revenge. Yo, yeah. Yes. If you Old Boy is a filmmaker's film.
Yes,
film.
it is. It is. That's a good way to put it.
But back to Goat. Yeah. Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay, I like it, man. That's
Yeah.
a good pick.
Next one, comedian. I mean, yes, this is everyone's goat, I think.
Okay, so
Maybe not.
No,
maybe
Well,
not.
so okay, so you're gonna talk greatest. You have to mention Richard Pryor. You got to mention Eddie Murphy. My personal favorite, and I think most people are gonna say Chappelle.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Did you watch his most recent? It's on Netflix right now. The Dreamer.
I may have.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not his
sure.
best work.
Yeah.
It's definitely funny. I laughed out. Tristan and I laughed out loud. There's so much offensive things in that one, and it's wild. But aside from the shock value, he has this way of being able to shock
Yeah.
as his vehicle to deliver a deeper message of morality a lot of times, like he kind of is able to kind of capture the audience through shock value, and then if you listen to what he's saying, it's a lot more about political, socio, like,
It's tough these days when you.
Yeah.
I feel like he has a bunch on Netflix now.
He does,
Right?
He has an exclusive contract. They paid him the bag.
Yeah,
They
he
did.
was talking about that
Yeah,
on one
yeah.
of his interviews, and how just Netflix just came up for him.
Yep.
Yeah, and didn't he have a series where he talks about like going against the man?
Oh yeah, well I mean he had
AKA
Chappelle,
HBO.
he had Chappelle show on it was on Comedy Central.
Okay.
And then there was like if anybody's followed his career, they gave him like this insane contract and he
Yeah.
walked away from, and everybody thought that he was like he went crazy. There was a lot that happened behind the scenes, and a lot of it was just about ownership and like content. And I think even though people thought he was wild for doing what he did, when he came back with a vengeance, and he made sure he owned everything. So this thing with Netflix, I mean, it has made him multi millions.
Did HBO own Comedy Central?
I believe that they have the content on Max currently.
Okay,
yeah,
because I remember him talking about him telling his followers and his viewers and his fans to not stream.
Yes.
And eventually, I don't know if it was like one of the higher ups or the chairmen of HBO, eventually got his money from all of they compensated him for the things that he did.
Yeah.
But that's when
why
it was
he
like a win.
rolls with Netflix though, because Netflix
Yeah.
basically gave him back a lot of the rights to things, and I think that's why he felt real. Yeah. So
Yeah. It's coming to mind now that Netflix, he didn't actually have, he wasn't going to get paid for any of it, but then Netflix said,
You
hey,
got
no,
it.
that's not, yeah.
And that's why he signed with them. But he's been pushing out content, and I think the reason why Chappelle is probably the GOAT comedian is he's not a joke teller. He's a storyteller.
Yeah.
So again, he'll have zingers and he'll have one-liners, and he can do his impersonations and all that, like a good comedian. But he is able. He's mastered the art of storytelling. He's just compelling, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you look at most of his sets, a lot of it isn't really comedy based. He's just talking about current events,
Yeah.
and struggle and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he'll find humor in all of these things.
Yeah.
But people are just captivated because they just want to hear what the story is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that stuck out with me on what he said was nowadays these comedians can't tell the difference between making a statement and making a joke.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, that's good. That's
good,
so
man.
good. Yeah.
Awesome.
But Chappelle, I think he's the GOAT, man.
Hey, I agree.
Let's move on to
a couple more.
Couple more. Yeah,
let's
just a
do it.
couple more. Musical group. Wait, didn't we?
No, you mean a musical group? Absolutely, musical group. I know there's this card sort was kind of a lot heavy on music, but musical group GOAT. Shoot. Okay, so if I think about just groups that are just multi-talented all the way around, and everybody is talented in their own right in groups, but the ones that stand out would be like Fleetwood Mac,
Okay, yeah.
the Eagles. Some people would say Genesis. The one that's kind of like just for whatever reason, sticking out in my head would be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and only because of longevity. I think about musical groups that are really, really talented, and then they have like a period of time where they just kind of reign supreme. And then you look at groups that are just still performing that have been around for decades.
Yeah.
And the Chili Peppers, one of them, where they consistently put out good music, and they just have a roster of just incredibly talented people.
Yeah.
So that would probably be. I know that's a little biased and a little bit more
that's
personal.
it's your goal, right?
But yeah, I'd say Red Hot Chili Peppers for me. GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to when I seen that I was like, I don't know who that might be for everyone. Like,
Well, what do you consider a group? Do you like there's a duo and then there's a group? So I
I
would think
know,
more than
yeah,
two
yeah.
people. If you just think about duos, that's hard because then you like
I mean, when I think of musical group,
Yeah.
the first people that I thought about. So my GOAT is this band called Five Iron Frenzy.
okay, yeah,
It's a ska band that
Gotcha.
I grew up in, and they kind of came up in the early 2000s. So I kind of grew up on ska.
sure.
And these guys were at the forefront of like, well, one, musicality wise, they had really good melodies and they weren't corny. Their musical melody choices for the instruments were really good and catchy. They weren't just like simple notes. It was very calculated. This guy Reese Roper, who's an amazing singer, just a high register. This guy has a high register, but he was kind of like they're a Christian. They were a Christian band, and their message was different, where they were kind of like outcast almost in this religion, I guess, or faith. And while some of the traditional churches might look at them as like outcasts or whatever, these guys were like kind of. He has ever since leaving or stopping music, he started a church called Scumbag of the Earth, and there's a verse.
Really?
Where the whole message was that like they're just no one's righteous.
There you
like
go.
they're just guys and
That's
just
dope.
having fun and
That's dope.
spreading the message of Jesus, whatever. But those guys were kind of like essential for me growing up.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
So Five Iron Frenzy.
There you
Yeah.
go. All right.
Next, let's do a couple more.
Okay.
Sports team.
Yeah, sure.
Sports team.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so again, growing up, I want to say that the GOAT sports team, and this is all teams, right?
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls.
Chicago.
Rodman, Pittman, Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pippen, Rodman,
Horace Grant.
Horace Grant.
BJ, what was his name?
I think BJ was there. Oh,
Yeah,
was he? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
BJ Armstrong. I
Steve
think it was-
Kerr.
Steve Kerr was on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a first group and then there's a second.
Yeah, man. I mean,
yeah.
okay, so that would be a singular team that I think of like just GOAT teams.
Yeah.
If you want to cheat, I would say the first Dream Team that played in the Olympics.
Oh, was
That
it
is-
92?
That's the greatest team of athletes.
The greatest
just
team that has been assembled.
of all time. Like, there is no question.
Yeah.
That is literally the cheat code. And it's
Yeah.
funny how other countries are like, you guys are cheating. And then after that, they start using other professional
Yeah,
athletes
yeah.
too, right?
Who's on there? There's Patrick Ewing,
Yeah.
Chris, what's
Charles
his name?
Barkley,
Charles Barkley,
Michael Jordan,
David
Robinson.
David Robinson,
Yeah, John Stockton.
John Stockton.
Yep.
Was Magic was on there.
Magic was on there. It was the most stacked team of all
Yeah.
time. Like, I mean, it's funny because you're like, oh, it's tit for tat. Like, you can't compare different athletes. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, athletic talent alone, that was the most stacked team of all time.
Larry Bird. Larry Bird was on there. Yep. Larry
Yep.
Bird.
You got it. You basically had guys that were on the verge of retiring, and then you had
And the goats that come in. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was literally
stacked.
just the best team of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a GOAT team. Yeah.
There you go. Enough said.
Yeah. All right. Last one to close
Okay,
it off.
let's do it.
We got favorite actor.
Hey. I know what you're gonna say. No.
I didn't. No, this might be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to talk about just GOAT actresses,
Okay.
you got to say Meryl Streep and you got to say Daniel Day-Lewis.
'Kay.
That's based off of merit and awards. Okay, so
Wow.
acting ability and the amount of Oscars that they've won.
Wow.
I want to say those two are probably gonna be the GOATs of everybody. What they would say.
I didn't look at their accolades.
Yeah.
What's their
Daniel Day-Lewis, he's won multiple times. Meryl Streep is one of the most winning actresses of all time. If I were to say just my personal favorite GOAT actor,
Yep. I was gonna say it's probably hard.
okay, so I can't think of a movie that Leonardo DiCaprio has been in that I did not enjoy. Titanic included.
I love Titanic. Titanic was solid.
man.
Yeah. Was that
I just-
Spielberg?
No. James Cameron.
James Cameron. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio is the GOAT, man. And the reason being is because he 100% just adapts his character. He is 100% engulfed into. He could say that about any actor.
Yeah.
But to the point where like the range that he has, where again he can do comical. He showed that in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He can do drama. He can do action. I love what he did in Inception. I love The Departed. He's just a complete actor, and he's been acting since he was a kid. You don't hear about child actors that have that longevity.
That's true.
That are still putting out movies that people line up to see, and that's
That's true.
probably why I think he's the GOAT.
That's a good case.
Yep.
Yeah, you bring up a good case. Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
was on mine. Yeah.
Yep.
I think of what do you call those actors, Joe? When they
Method actors.
Method actors. Yeah. I mean, you consider Leonardo as a method actor as well, right? But Daniel Day-Lewis, I don't know, man. He just not engulfs, but what do you call? What's that word? When exudes the
Yes.
character itself. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know how he
lives
does it. Yeah,
lives
he
it,
lives it and breathes it. When I think about guys that go to that extent, one of the people I talk about that I think of is, man, what's his name? Dark Knight.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's another one. But Daniel Day-Lewis in the one movie that sticks out to me is Gangs of New York.
Gangs in New York and There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood,
those
man.
Those are goated movies that are honestly, it just shows how amazing of an actor he is. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he had that many accolades or however
Sure,
many he
yeah,
has.
yep.
There Will Be Blood. Side note, that might be my second top movie
Sure.
of all time.
Yeah.
It was so funny because on I think it was Facebook. Meta. There was a post saying, "Oh, name your top movie or whatever." Or I'm sorry. The post was There Will Be Blood. When it came out,
Yeah.
who it was behind the scenes. And then I had to comment. I was like, probably one of my top movies of all
Sure,
time.
sure.
This guy comments and he's like, watch more movies.
Dang,
so I
son.
responded. I was like, I don't want to brag, but I watched all of them twice.
yeah. Exactly.
But everyone was dogging on him because
That's so
it was
funny.
like, it's a top.
It's a
a
good
top
one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But did you have any
No, man.
other closing remarks?
No. I think those are good choices right there.
This was super fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Goat list, man. We
think
might have
we're gonna have to do a part three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we still got some We got a stack left.
And an endless amount.
Endless amount.
Yeah.
So this might be a regular.
I think so.
Look out for it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with us till the end.
absolutely.
And see you guys next time.
Yeah, peace.
Peace.